Have you ever felt that tightness in your chest? The one that comes from holding in what you really need to say. You tell yourself, it's not worth it. I'll stay quiet. But silence doesn't solve anything. It just stores tension, until it turns into exhaustion. Most people think burnout comes from overworking. It doesn't. It comes from unspoken truth, from carrying problems that should have been shared. If you stay with me until the end of this video, you'll learn one simple practice that can change how you speak up. A calm, clear way to raise any issue without breaking trust or starting conflict. And by the end, you'll know exactly how to turn silence into progress in your work, your family, and yourself. Before we begin, take a second. Write this in the comments, not for others, but as a promise to yourself. I'll raise truth with grace. Because peace doesn't come from holding it in. It comes from learning how to speak it kindly. I remember the day I burned out. Not from the hours, or the workload, or even the pressure, but from swallowing words that were never meant to stay silent. There was a project at work that had stopped moving months before. Deadlines slipped. Meetings looped. Everyone could feel the tension in the air. Heavy, invisible, unspoken. I saw the problem. We all did. But I was afraid to raise it. Afraid to sound negative. Afraid to seem ungrateful. So I stayed quiet. And silence, I learned, is a slow fire. One morning, after another sleepless night, I looked at myself in the mirror and whispered, "This can't go on." That day, instead of venting, I tried something different. I opened my notebook and wrote 3 simple lines. Fact: the project is missing key data and can't move forward. Effect: the team is losing time and morale. Request: I'd like a meeting to decide the next step. No emotion, no blame, just calm truth. I sent the note, and within hours the right people responded. Decisions were made. Progress began again. That was the day I learned that raising a problem isn't rebellion, it's responsibility. For most of my life, I thought keeping peace meant keeping quiet. I equated calm with silence. But silence isn't peace, it's postponement. Peace doesn't live in avoidance. It lives in clarity, spoken kindly. Silence may look peaceful until it burns you from the inside. Over the years, I've met so many good people, hardworking, loyal, kind, who stay quiet when things go wrong. They wait. They hope. They absorb stress until it seeps into their bones. Not because they don't care, but because they care too much. They're afraid to sound critical. But I've learned you can speak truth without heat. You can raise an issue without raising your voice. Escalation, done right, isn't confrontation, it's collaboration, lifted to a higher level. When I began practicing this, something surprising happened. People didn't pull away, they leaned in. They started trusting me more, not less. Because calm honesty signals reliability. It says, I'll tell you the truth, but I'll do it with respect. And that's rare in a world that mistakes loudness for leadership. One of my colleagues once told me, "You're not afraid to speak up, but you never make it sound like an attack." I smiled and said, "Calm doesn't mean weak, it means clear." He nodded, because he knew how much courage clarity takes. A few months after that first project, it happened again. Another plan was slipping, and tension was rising. But this time, I didn't wait for frustration to build. I sat down, took a breath, and wrote my 3 lines. Fact, effect, request. I called it the cool escalation. I sent it to my manager, half expecting a cold reply. Instead, she called me right away. Her tone was warm, grateful. She said, "Thank you for writing this so clearly. I wish everyone did it this way." That's when it hit me. Clarity is contagious. At home, I started noticing it too. One evening, my son came storming in, furious about something that had happened at school. His voice was sharp. Mine almost followed. But then I stopped, took a breath, and said, "Let's call Mom. We'll figure it out together." That one sentence changed everything. The storm in the room softened. He learned that asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Even with friends, calm escalation saved connection. Once, a close friend hurt my feelings, not on purpose, but enough to sting. Instead of pulling away, I reached out to another friend we both trusted and asked, "Would you sit with us while we talk?" We did, slowly, kindly, and somehow we walked away closer than before. Because when truth is spoken without heat, it heals instead of harming. Dale Carnegie once said, "Any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain, but it takes character and self-control to be understanding." He was right. Criticism adds heat. Understanding adds light. And when you bring light to a problem, people gather around it. Here's the paradox. The cooler your tone, the faster the solution. Anger slows minds. Calm sharpens them. Because when emotions cool, logic returns. And when logic and kindness work together, progress follows. At work, I began teaching my team something simple. We called it the 3-line rule. Whenever something felt stuck, I'd say, "Don't vent, don't spiral. Write it down in 3 short lines. What's happening, what it's causing, what you're requesting. No adjectives, no drama. Just the skeleton of truth." We pinned that rule in our team chat. At first, people joked about it, but within a few weeks, the difference was unmistakable. People still raised issues, but they did it without fear. We stopped waiting for explosions. We started addressing sparks. Instead of late-night complaints, I saw calm messages like, "Fact, client approval is delayed. Effect, design team is blocked. Request, meeting to unblock." Clean, honest, actionable. And something amazing happened. Projects that used to feel chaotic began to move smoothly again, because energy that used to go into frustration now went into progress. Respect didn't disappear when we started escalating. It deepened. That's when I realized raising an issue isn't a sign of conflict, it's a sign of care. The key was always tone. Tone carries your intention faster than your words. You can say, "This isn't working," with anger or with sincerity. One triggers defense, the other invites dialogue. The difference is warmth. One day a colleague asked me, "Don't you worry people will think you're demanding?" I smiled. "No," I said. "I'm showing them how to stay honest without burning bridges." And once you set that example, others follow. They learn that truth spoken softly still counts. Here's what surprised me most. Calm escalation didn't just fix problems, it protected relationships. It gave everyone a structure for truth. It said, we can disagree, but we don't have to disconnect. Once you've experienced a conversation like that, respectful, clear, productive, you never want to go back to shouting or silence again. I started seeing the same truth everywhere. In families, in friendships, in love. Couples who could say, "We need help with this," instead of, "You never listen," grew closer instead of drifting apart. Children who could say, "I'm upset, can we talk?" learned early that honesty is safer than silence. And friends who could say, "Let's ask someone wiser," discovered that maturity often sounds like humility. There's a quiet confidence in saying, "I can't fix this alone. Let's lift it higher." That's what escalation really means, not shouting upward, but handing the weight to where it belongs. For years, I thought asking for help showed weakness. Now I know it shows wisdom, because wise people know their limits, and when you respect your limits, you give others permission to respect theirs too. So, think about it for a moment. What's one situation right now that's been stuck too long? A project that's stalling? A family conversation that never really finishes? A friendship holding quiet tension? You've tried patience. You've tried silence. Now, ask yourself, what would it look like to raise this issue without heat? What would your 3 lines sound like? Clear, calm, kind. Here's how you can begin. Step 1. Build your calm escalation template. Keep it simple, just 3 lines. Fact, what's happening. Effect, what it's causing. Request, what you need. Write them down before emotions take the pen. That's your structure for truth. Step 2. Use it early. Don't wait for tension to grow teeth. The longer you hold it in, the hotter it gets. When something isn't working, pause. Breathe. Then write your 3 lines and share them with respect. You'll be amazed how often problems dissolve simply because they were spoken clearly. Step 3. Reflect and refine. After each conversation, take a minute to notice. How did people respond? Did your tone invite cooperation or defense? Tweak the words, not the courage. Refine the calm, not the truth. Over time, your voice will become your greatest tool for peace. At first, this habit feels mechanical. Then it becomes liberating. Because you stop walking on eggshells. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You learn to trust that respect and honesty can coexist. One day, during a coaching session, a young engineer told me, "I've been afraid to speak up. I don't want to upset anyone." I said, "Then speak to them, not at them." He laughed. But a week later, he sent me a note that said, "I tried your 3-line email. It worked. My manager thanked me for being clear." I wrote back, "Truth doesn't need volume. It needs structure." Calm isn't the absence of passion. It's passion disciplined by respect. Sometimes people mistake composure for detachment, as if staying cool means you don't care. But caring too loudly can drown out your message. Caring calmly lets it be heard. I remember a volunteer group I worked with once. We'd hit a wall: miscommunication, mixed priorities, growing tempers. I called a meeting and said, "Let's do this differently. Each of us will share 1 fact, 1 effect, and 1 request." At first, people chuckled. Then they began. Fact: we're missing sign-up sheets. Effect: volunteers feel lost. Request: can we assign 1 person to track attendance? Simple, honest. By the second round, the tension in the room was gone. No one was shouting. Everyone was listening. And by the end, someone said quietly, "Why didn't we talk like this months ago?" We all smiled, because when calm enters the room, solutions do too. Escalation without heat isn't about control. It's about care, with precision. It's not avoiding truth, it's upgrading it, turning frustration into communication. And it works anywhere people work, love, or live together. When I look back now, I can see it clearly. So many relationships, both personal and professional, could have been saved by one brave, calm sentence. Not a speech, not a defense, just a simple declaration. Here's what's happening. Here's what it's causing. Here's what I need. That's all most people want, to know where they stand and what's next. So tonight, before the day ends, try this quiet practice. Think of one situation that's been sitting heavy on your mind. Don't rehearse the anger, write your 3 lines instead. Fact, effect, request. Then read them aloud, slowly, calmly. Notice how your heart rate steadies when your words find order. And when the time feels right, share them. With warmth, with respect, with grace. You'll discover that escalation done gently isn't conflict, it's clarity in motion. Life will always bring friction, but you don't have to choose between silence and shouting. There's a third way, calm truth. And calm truth builds bridges no argument ever could. When you raise your voice with grace, people listen differently. They don't brace for impact, they lean in for understanding. That's the quiet power of calm truth. It teaches the world that kindness and courage can share the same tone. And once you experience that, once you see a hard conversation end with mutual respect instead of regret, you start realizing something deeper. You don't need to shout to be heard. You just need to speak from clarity, not from chaos. The world has enough noise. What it needs is resonance, the kind that comes from steady hearts, not shaking hands. So the next time you feel the pressure building, remember this. You can be both honest and gentle. You can be both brave and kind. Write your 3 lines. Breathe once, then speak. Not to win, not to prove, but to connect. Because every time you raise your truth with grace, you make space for others to do the same. You show them that problems aren't battles. They're bridges waiting to be built. And over time, that becomes your quiet legacy. A trail of calm conversations that left places better than you found them. So tonight, when the world settles and your thoughts finally slow, take one deep breath and remind yourself, peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the presence of clarity. And sometimes, all it takes to find it is one steady voice saying, here's what's happening. Here's what it's causing. Here's what I need. Tomorrow may never come, but today is here, waiting for you to raise your voice with grace.